Alright, we are going to get started with the hands-on. We're going to write our first Terra test program, rather an infrastructure testing config using the Golang and Terra test both. I'm going to request you to keep the URL of the Terra test documentation handy. We're going to refer to and fro. For now, I've just opened both of them just in case we need to at least copy the library. We're going to follow the basic example. Idea is to help you get started with the Terra test ways of working, how the syntax works, and how you can get started with. So I'm going to create. Obviously, we need to have a Terraform file first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a Terraform configuration. That's going to be a very basic configuration. Required version would be somewhere more than 0.12.26. Yeah, any of the supported version. And then we want an output. Output would be hello world, and the value would be created probably hello world to keep it simple. Yep. And the provider, we need a provider, so we want the provider to be Azure RM. Features, and the version of the Azure is gonna be more than, yeah, we can specify a version, or we can just keep it to use the latest one. Alright, that's been done. So if you just run a Terraform init and then just do a plan and output, you would see that if you now do an apply with an auto approve, you would see that it gives you an output of hello world. Yeah, and that's what we are going to test. So how we are going to test is we're going to create a Golang file first. So by the way, I'm using the Golang editor. You could use any of the editor of your choice. So I'm going to go and go ahead and create a new file. The file's going to be Terraform hello world, and gonna be the file should be ending with the test.go. That's what we're gonna do, and we start with the package name. The package gonna be test, and then we are going to import some of the packages. One of the packages gonna be testing, so I'm gonna start with the braces so that we have multiple packages. One of the packages testing, and another package would be assert and the Terraform. So these are the packages we need to import so that we have all the supported libraries. Alright, that's been done. Should be comma separated, and then we need the assert as well. Alright, I'll just remove the comma because that's definitely not needed. So if you see, hover over it, it says that the packages are not used at the moment. We're going to just use it in a while so that the error is going to go away. So the first thing which is going to happen is we're going to start creating a function, and it should always start with the capital letters. So it's going to be a test, and then Terraform hello world, and we're gonna start with the testing parameters. That's gonna be t, and we're gonna pass on the pointers to the testing, and it's going to be supported by various attributes like t, b, benchmarking results. We're going to use the t. So the star operator is basically to hold the memory address of a particular variable. In this case, going to be testing, and this is an ampersand operator which is going to use that is used to get the memory address. So we've defined the function. If we just run the test now, we see that the test is gonna be running, but yeah, you don't have the imports are enabled, so that's gonna be failing test for you. So what we're gonna do is we are going to define a variable that's going to be Terraform options, and we're going to use the ampersand, and we're going to use the Terraform library, and underneath it we have got multiple options, like the options one which holds the directory and all. Then we've got init plan, and these are TerraTest module particularly. We've got init apply, we've got output list map, and a lot of other parameters. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the options, and underneath it we are going to use the Terraform directory, and our directory is going to be the one which we have locally. So we are not going to go back, because all of our files are going to be under the same folder. So we are going to put a dot over here, and now we have kind of done defining all the variables over here. Now what we're going to do is we are going to do the first step, which was to run an initialization and apply. Initialization, either you can use a plan or apply. So we can use an apply, and then the attribute's going to be T and the options, so which is going to be Terraform options, so that it knows that where to pick up the files from, and then it runs the apply. And then we are going to use an output variable. The output variable, this is how you define the variable: colon equals to, and then Terraform dot output, and we're gonna use certain parameters like T, and then Terraform options, and then the output value. The output value in our case is hello world, so we're going to use this one, and we're going to pick the value of this hello world. And then we're using an assert statement, which is going to be equal, which accepts three parameters: T, and the parameter which we want, the value which we want is hello world, and then compare it with the output. That's how it kind of looks like, because the assert statement is the one which is going to compare with the actual value. There's an error over here, so we need to have a comma, which kind of makes it syntactically correct. Now if you run a go test, it should start testing it, and what it's going to do is it's going to first initialize, apply, and then use the output and compare with the hello world attributes. If you see that the expected result was hello world, however the actual is hello capital world. So if what we have given over here is hello world, however in the main file it is mentioned as hello world. So if you just copy this one and paste it into your expected one, so now if you run a test, it's gonna the V is for the verbose smoothing, so you can know that what it is actually doing in the back end. So it is initializing at the beginning, and then it's comparing, and now you see that the test have passed, and it ran for almost 9.356 seconds, and yeah, it compared the attribute with the actual output, and then it actually compared with the assert statement. So you could also use the defer statement. Now defer is run at the last, and what it does, it after you have tested it, after you don't want to test your using TerraTest on your actual environment. What the philosophy of TerraTest is, you build a similar environment on a different as a test resource or something like that, and you test all the configuration over there. So now once you have tested, you simply do a Terraform destroy, and that's gonna ask you for the tree attribute and Terraform options, which you're gonna use the folders and file when it runs to apply the destroy. Now if you run it again, what it's going to do is it's start with the initialization, start with the apply, then downloads all the plugin obviously, and now it is after testing if you look at over here, after testing and everything, it destroys it also. In the previous step it did not do it, but in this case it destroyed everything and give you a result that okay, before destroying everything was passed. And you can actually you actually should be confident enough that this particular resources or infrastructure code should be easily be going into the production. So that's the idea behind TerraTest. What we did, we created a simple function which actually tests a hello world output, and the philosophy is to test your code on a separate environment before you actually deploy it for production, just to give you a bit of confidence before deploying onto your actual production environment. I hope this was informative. In the next video, we're going to get started with the virtual machine, and we're going to test some of the virtual machine attributes as well. All right, that's about it. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.